Well, good evening again, everyone. Way 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle here. Let's get you updated on what we've got going on weather-wise across the area. You may have gotten some alerts on your phone from the Way 31 Storm Tracker weather app. Severe thunderstorm watch now out until 10 o'clock this morning. We won't have a severe weather threat that long. We're going to talk about that here in the next few minutes. And for you folks in Franklin County in particular and into southwestern and, well, basically central and southern Lawrence County, from Moulton south through the Bankhead National Forest, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued that goes for the next hour. So give me just a second to get in here on the computers and we will kind of run through this. The overall severe weather threat, I think, is going to remain pretty low. We're watching a couple things, and if you were on with our live a little bit earlier when I was giving you an update, got two areas of storms we're watching. One is this batch that you see in southern Middle Tennessee slowly building southward. None of this has been severe, and I think there's low likelihood that we're going to get anything severe out of this, primarily because this storm development here to the north, it is forming along a rain-cooled boundary. You can actually kind of see it here, this thin green-blue line. That's rain-cooled air. And again, as this is dropping south, we are getting some shower and thunderstorm activity developing primarily behind it. That limits the overall severe weather potential when you have that sort of situation where the storms are developing behind the outflow. So not super concerned that we're going to get too many problems out of this. What we are continuing to see some strong storms in Mississippi that we've been tracking for a little while, and those are now beginning to head into portions of the northwest corner of the state. There will be a limited severe weather threat with these also. So let me kind of jump in here, reconnect to the computers, and we'll kind of track out some of this. We'll show you what we've got going on. All right, let's zoom in here first into Franklin County. I'm going to finagle the radar data a little bit. And what we've got here, this is a fairly stout storm. There's a lot of lightning. It's coming into Red Bay right now. And it's fairly small, but it is what we call bowed out. Got a little bow echo on it. We call it that because it looks like the bow of a bow and arrow. And usually when you get this shape where it kind of comes to a point in the middle, that's being created by some strong winds. So I think there is a reasonably good chance that we are seeing it here in Red Bay. So this is going to be the possibility that this storm is going to produce some damaging wind gusts. Let me get the specifics on this. Previously, this activity had been moving pretty quick. Earlier, when we were tracking actually a larger extension of this, had been moving about 55 miles per hour. So let me see if that's still, yeah, so this is still trucking along around 55 miles per hour. So let me track that out for you. And again, our main concern here is going to be for some winds 60 miles per hour or stronger. And this is coming pretty well due east. So we'll take this into Lawrence County. Let me move this out of the way. So this is coming into Vina in the next few minutes. Again, Red Bay impacting you right now. The possibility for some strong damaging wind. Just take shelter middle of your home or wherever you're located, away from windows. Not really seeing, and we'll take a look here at if there's any rotation showing up, but I'd say little chance for that right now, but we'll take a closer look here in just a second. Old Nauvoo around 248, Russellville, this will be coming through around 301. Your time right now is 239. Phil Campbell area by 306. And then into Lawrence County, Hatton by 322. Moulton, this will be coming in about an hour from now, 328. Again, the warning does go for an hour. with the possibility this may be able to continue to maintain itself for that long of a period of time. That is the primary threat. Let me just get a quick look here. Not really seeing significant hail. There is a little bit of a hail core here associated with this moving into Red Bay, maybe some nickel dime-sized hail, but we've really not been seeing strong hail signatures on this activity. But what we are looking at is the possibility for some strong wind. This would be looking at rotating wind, not really seeing a strong signal of that. But again, certainly some strong straight line wind would be a possibility. Again, this is the latest radar view. It has that shape, again, the shape of a bow in a bow and arrow. And again, this is usually an indication of very strong wind pushing out the center of the storm. So that's why it has this shape. That is right over Red Bay right now. Looking for any rotation here. Nothing that really jumps out immediately of any concerns about tornado potential. Sometimes, though, when you do get these strong pushes of wind, you can get brief little spin-ups. I'm not seeing anything immediately jumping out at me that concerns me as far as that goes. So this is all we got going on right now. Again, the storm in Franklin County, wind potential. Going to get a quick burst of rainfall. There's a lot of lightning with this as well. In fact, let me show you. This will be cloud to ground lightning strikes in the last 30 minutes. This is a good bit for that small of an area, almost 200. So this is very electrical. That in and of itself, outside of the wind threat, could also lead to some power issues. I'll be keeping an eye on if we're getting any power outages here. That will be an indication of just what sort of wind we may be dealing with in this situation. Again, there is now severe thunderstorm watch. Covers all of North Alabama, from Huntsville down to the Birmingham area. Goes until 10 a.m. I'm going to show you the forecast information, latest with future radar, and why, at least for our area here in the far northern part of the state, the threat's not going to last until 10 o'clock in the morning. But officially, severe thunderstorm watch goes until then. And the way the watch was drawn out, let me show you that too. So when we get severe weather watches, it comes in two phases. The watches are issued by the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma. I just want to show you what that looked like. And then the individual National Weather Service offices, they go in and they say, okay, these are the counties that are going to be included in the watch for our jurisdiction. So as the Storm Prediction Center drew the severe thunderstorm watch outline, notice it basically went in a line from Haleyville to Scottsboro and then southward. So some counties were kind of filled in. I think just to kind of fill in the gap, we've got this tornado watch. Still goes until 3 across southern Middle Tennessee. So I think counties were kind of filled in the gap here, but certainly towards the state line, going to be more impacted by that activity in southern Tennessee, which right now is below severe limits. And because of the way it's developing and organizing, probably will keep the overall threat pretty low. But what we'll really have to watch, I think, is more south of the Tennessee River, where, again, we've got that strong storm in Franklin County right now. That's probably where the greater threat's going to be. So I know there are other areas included in this severe thunderstorm watch, not necessarily going to have an equal chance of severe weather all within that watch area, in my opinion. Again, this is the view here on the radar. 2 zones that we're watching. We got this little cluster of storms, organized enough to produce a wind threat there in Franklin County. And then we've got this band of thunderstorm activity, but again, primarily forming behind outflow, which you see here. This skinny little green line, that's your outflow. So especially here, Fayetteville, Winchester, the storms are behind the outflow. That limits the overall potential for severe weather. We're getting kind of out of the radar view here, but I would suspect if we did have a closer radar that we could see this boundary. It's probably a similar situation back here towards Pulaski and Lawrenceburg. We've got the outflow, and then the storms are developing behind it. Basically, that means the storms are elevated. They're not necessarily entirely surface-based. That really limits the tornado potential, I will say that, in that sort of setup. Still could get some gusty wind, still could get some hail, but it's a little bit more difficult in that sort of setup. So less concern about severe weather out of this. I think this is our better odds of seeing some severe weather with this small little area of thunderstorm activity there in Franklin County. So let me get back into that. I'm going to change up radars just a little bit. And I will say here in just the last update, showing less of that Boeing signature. Again, this was just a couple minutes ago. And now even that's becoming a little bit less defined. And if I show you the bigger picture here, I want to show you how all this evolved with time. And there are some bigger storms back here in Mississippi. Kind of the same thing though. I mean, you notice here, this is a little rain-cooled boundary, so some of this storm activity is actually back behind it. And this activity, this thunderstorm cluster, mostly moving east, so this is probably going to stay just south of our coverage area. But if you're here, Marion County, potentially you could get clipped by some of this as well, but most of this is probably going to stay just south of what we normally cover here in far northern Alabama. But let me take you back a few hours. I'm going to show you how all this kind of came together. I'm going to take the lightning off and it'll make it a little bit easier to see the radar pattern. And I started talking about this probably around this time, about 1 o'clock or so in the morning. We started noticing this near Batesville. This was well organized. You can see quite intense. And it continued to stay that way up until it was west of Tupelo. Had that bow feature. And then this kind of fell apart except for the northern end. So we'll bring you up a little bit more in time. And you can see as it passed through Tupelo, kind of fell apart. Northern little part of it, that's held on. And that's what's prompted the severe thunderstorm warning there for Franklin County. So, you know, there's some interesting things going on in the atmosphere. You look at the data, you look at it on paper, you look at the numbers, it would appear that we're conducive for severe weather. However, storms have been kind of struggling to make it into our area. Again, this activity in Middle Tennessee, not severe. This activity, which was robust back here towards Batesville in northwest Mississippi just a couple hours ago, kind of fallen apart as it approached the state line, except for that northern portion. And again, that has prompted the severe thunderstorm warning there. And right now, it appears the bulk of the activity that is continuing back here in Mississippi and headed east is probably going to stay a little off to the south, again, of our immediate coverage area. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for areas south of Marion County, there along the state line. And it is going to be this zone from Grenada towards Columbus, Mississippi, probably where we're going to have most of the stronger storm activity as it approaches the state line. Quick look back up here in Franklin County. See what our storm's doing. I mean, it's still, I'm bowed out just a little bit, so still the possibility for some strong wind. Taking a look inside the storm, this is where we'd be looking for rotation. Nothing that I'm seeing with the way the storm looks compared to the wind velocity that is particularly concerning. Let me take a look at some different wind data. And we're really not even seeing a strong wind signature out of this that would even indicate the possibility for significant straight line wind. A couple hail cores here east of Red Bay. Again, maybe some dime, nickel-sized hail, pocket change, probably under quarter-sized. But still quite a bit of lightning showing up out of this storm. So it is still fairly stout. So again, if you're over here, central parts of Franklin County, Russellville southward along US 43, again, just make sure you're in a safe place, middle of the structure that you're in, away from windows. This storm will be packing a little bit of a punch. And again, the main concern is going to be for some strong wind gusts, maybe 50 up to 60 miles per hour. I'm not real concerned that it's going to be anything stronger than that. So let's get you into some forecast data. We're not live on television side of things right now, as this storm I don't think is posing a significant threat to life. So, but we are streaming for those that want more detailed information. And I will check on the Facebook live streams here. If you do have some questions, happy to answer those. You can put those in the comments. But let me run through the forecast, the latest as we have it. Doing a pretty good job at this point. Did not do a good job earlier yesterday evening. I'll be honest about that. And storms have taken much longer to get here than we had anticipated they would. But now that they are here, starting to get a little bit better information from some of the model data. This is one of the things we use for future radar. Picking up on, again, non-severe storm activity entering far southern Middle Tennessee, and also picking up on the stronger storm activity coming at us out of Mississippi. So I do want to show you where all this is going, and also why, even though the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 o'clock this morning, we're not going to be dealing with severe weather through that length of time, at least in our coverage area. So let's take you up to 4 o'clock in the morning, and here we go. Still got our batch of showers and thunder showers here, southern Middle Tennessee, and the activity that we have moving into Franklin County and point southward, that'll continue to come east. Kind of the leading edge of that by 4 a.m., probably coming in here across Morgan County into western Coleman County. We'll have to wait and see if there's still going to be a severe weather potential, at least with future radar showing the stronger stuff will probably be off to our south at that point. So we'll see if particularly this storm in Franklin County, if it maintains itself or if it starts to become a little less organized. Take you to 5 in the morning. At this point, if you're here in the Shoals, I think you're good to go. We'll be done with severe weather potential out there. In fact, pretty well west of I-65 here in North Alabama by 5 o'clock in the morning. Should not be a concern. We're still going to have some storm activity, though, coming into Marshall County. We're still going to have this band of showers and thunder showers here, southern Middle Tennessee, although I think future radar may be a little bit behind here. This may be closer to hugging the state line at that point. So by 5 o'clock in the morning, the threat, if we're going to get some severe weather, will generally be, I believe, east of I-65, and it will continue to steadily move through. By 6 in the morning, right here along the state line, northern Jackson County, maybe a couple stronger storms. And the leading edge of the strongest storm activity here associated with what's coming at us out of Mississippi is probably going to be towards the Georgia border. So I would expect, we'll say 6 a.m. might be the latest that we're going to have any sort of severe weather potential to worry about here in North Alabama. So yes, even though the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10, it's not going to be that late into the morning hours that we're going to be dealing with this. So let me take a look here. And just kind of check out some of the comments as we go through here. Let's see what we got. I got someone from my old stomping grounds in Louisiana asking, you know, back in Louisiana, yeah, at least for the rest of tonight there, for asking about Northwest Louisiana, I think we're going to be okay there. Yeah, so for the person asking about Bossier City, I don't think you have anything to worry about for there for the rest of tonight. And even here across northern Alabama, you know, there's going to be some limited potential for some severe weather. We've just had a really tough time, and I'm not complaining at all. I will be the first one to say that severe weather opportunities that don't pan out make me happy because I don't want to see that happen. Still a fairly strong storm, though, here in Franklin County. Again, severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:30, all the way extending here towards Moulton in Lawrence County. So we're going to have to watch that. But again, if severe weather doesn't really materialize as expected, that's always a fantastic thing. All right, let me, so that was my Facebook. Check out the Way 31 Facebook page, just check the comments. If I've done my job well here in the last few minutes, there may not be a whole lot of questions, and hopefully I've answered what a lot of you want to know, but let's kind of go back here. It's got people checking in from Scottsboro, Dutton, Montgomery, Bridgeport, Russellville, Florence, Enterprise, Mentone, Arab, Hillsboro, checking in, Sheffield, Moulton, Higdon, Meridianville, Florence, Madison, Scottsboro, Moulton, lots of folks checking in. Johnny indicating a lot of lightning in Russellville right now. Ike wants to know, what about Florence? Florence, not super concerned for you. Again, the storm in Franklin County south of you, and it's moving pretty well due east, so it's going to stay south of Florence and Muscle Shoals. Watching the stuff up here, northern Wayne, Lawrence County, southern Middle Tennessee, again, this is gradually building southward. But none of this activity is particularly well organized, certainly nothing that is severe. So really, I think if you're here immediately in the shoals, you know, around Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, Florence, really most of Colbert, Lauderdale County, I think the chance that you're going to get any severe weather out of this overnight tonight is pretty low. Hunter wants to know, Hartselle in the path of this? Yes, it is moving east, so that could eventually bring it to Hartselle. Let me do a kind of a long-term track on this. This is assuming that it holds together, continues to pose a risk for some severe weather, then yes, this will make its way into Morgan County. Probably will stay just south of Decatur. But if you're on the south end of Decatur down to Hartselle, about 345. Based on the current speed of 55 miles per hour, that's when that would be coming on through. So for you folks here east of Lawrence County, across Morgan County, northern Coleman County as well, the Vinemont area, by around 351. That would be the time of arrival. Again, may stay just south of Decatur if it continues primarily on this easterly track that it is taking right now. Greta wants to know, what's the tornado threat or severe threat look like for the Scottsboro area? Provided we don't get any more northern development here. And let me show you the picture back to the west. There is not anything else. Primarily the strong storm activity in Mississippi extends kind of in a broken line here, starting in Franklin County and then arcs back to the south and west. So again, for you folks in the shoals, there's nothing immediately to your west that's coming on in. I'm not super concerned about this stuff to the north. So asking about Scottsboro, and the general trend on what we're tracking is it's pretty well moving due east. So if Franklin County kind of denotes the northern extent of where we may see some severe weather and you draw a straight line, Scottsboro, you're going to be just north of that. Again, we're going to have to watch. We'll continue to watch. Like I said, I'm not super concerned here with the activity we got from Fayetteville to Winchester, but that is building south, so that will be headed towards you, yes, in Scottsboro, but not super concerned at this point of seeing anything severe out of this. And what we have back in the northwest corner of the state, continuing on that easterly track, that should keep that activity south of Scottsboro. So Scottsboro, I would say you're not quite as in sweet of a spot as out here in Colbert, Lauderdale County, but at the same time, may keep the overall severe weather potential low. And I will say the overall tornado threat is fairly low. It's not zero, almost never completely zero, but I'd say fairly low. And that's the thinking of the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service, which is why they went with a severe thunderstorm watch as opposed to a tornado watch. They certainly could have gone with the tornado watch, being that there was one north, one west of us. But based on what they were seeing and kind of what I'm seeing, I think the overall tornado threat is going to remain fairly low out of this. All right, let's see. Just lots of folks checking in. Megan asking about the Section Fife area. Again, similar situation. It'll be a close call. It'll all depend on what this area of storms in Franklin County does. If it can hold together as it moves east, then that would put you a little bit more in line. And we'll have to see if there's anything new that develops, perhaps on the leading edge of this with time. You know, that's always a question mark. You know, we do a lot of tracking. I'm tracking this storm right now, saying, okay, it's here. This is where it's going to be. But keep in mind, storms are not just things that move here and there. Storms, I had a meteorologist a long time ago, back when I was in college. One of the things that he said, which has always stuck with me, is that storms are not things. Storms are processes, which means they're always evolving and changing. So just keep that in mind. Just because this storm in Franklin County right now is stout and perhaps capable of producing some strong wind gusts, doesn't mean that it's going to continue to hold together as it moves along its path. It's going to be undergoing changes as it interacts with the environment ahead of it. So, you know, as I say, yes, if this were to hold together as it is, then yes, it would get to you in Fife and in Section probably within a couple hours, but no guarantee that it's going to hang together in its current state. So let's get you back in here. And take a look what we've got going on. It's still kind of bowed a little bit. Not as well defined as it was when the warning came out. It is still very electrical though, producing quite a bit of lightning. Although the number of strikes have come down, When I showed you this about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, we were up almost 200 strikes in a 30-minute time frame. We're now down close to 100. So that's an indication that maybe the storm is weakening a little bit. Certainly it doesn't look quite as menacing in the radar presentation as it did when it was entering Franklin County. Our warning, severe thunderstorm warning, goes until 3:30, so we'll see. But again, this is kind of losing a little bit of its structure. Again, it's a process, and it's ever changing and evolving. And at least at this point, it appears there's a downward trend in the intensity, and hopefully that'll continue. But let's track it out for you. Again, coming through Russellville right now, and I do appreciate the report from Russellville about a lot of lightning. So as it continues this eastward path towards Moulton, these are the time of arrival. Hatton by 3:20. Time right now is about 5 after 3. Muck City by 3:23, Moulton coming in close to that expiration time around 3:30. And we'll see if the storm holds on or if it continues what appears to be a little bit of a weakening trend at this point in time. And again, that's all we've got out there of immediate concern. There are severe thunderstorm warnings for other areas back here in Mississippi, but again, traveling east, most of this is going to stay south of us, might clip southern parts of Coleman County. And again, our activity up here in southern Middle Tennessee, I'm just not real concerned about. Nothing that is severe warned. Probably the strongest, most organized thing is north of Winchester, moving east towards Sewanee. But that'll be moving out of our area. And again, we've got this skinny green line, what we call an outflow boundary. That's the rain-cooled air. And oftentimes when you get a larger expanse of storms, they do create these boundaries. So the fact that this thunderstorm activity back behind the boundary, back behind in the rain-cooled air, means, number one, the storms are elevated. They're not surface-based, so they're not tapping into the warmth that we still have. It's still into the 70s all across the area, so it's not tapping into that. It is slightly elevated, what we call it, and that limits the severe weather potential. Doesn't mean it can't produce severe weather, can't produce some strong wind, can't produce some hail. It's just a little bit more difficult for it to do that in this sort of weather setup. So again, the activity here in southern Middle Tennessee, I'm not super concerned about. It's not well organized. It's not structurally and meteorologically in a state where we'd be concerned about an elevated severe weather risk. But we'll watch it nonetheless. Again, our greatest potential for severe weather is probably going to come from this activity moving through the northwest corner of the state. Although, again, our storm in Franklin County has kind of ebbed a little bit from what it was when the warning came out. So, really, this is probably going to be it. Like I said, this activity in Tennessee, I'd be very surprised if we get anything severe that develops out of it, at least at this point in time. All right, let me go back in here. I want to know what the wind speeds in Florence are. I can look that up for you. At least tell you what it's doing at the airport in Muscle Shoals. And yeah, the winds are a little strong. Latest update, Muscle Shoals, winds are out of the west-southwest at 23, gusting to 32. So those are non-thunderstorm related winds that we're seeing here. Let me just check those some other places. Actually, I can pull those up for you. And we can show you a current wind gust across the entire area. All right. So these are the current wind gusts. And that's the one that jumps out. Yeah, Muscle Shoals, 36-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We're not seeing strong wind gusts elsewhere. 16 Coleman, 15 in Lawrenceburg. That's it. So there is some gusty wind here. And again, it's not necessarily associated with an individual thunderstorm because that is to your south. You know, sometimes in these weather setups we can develop very small areas of low pressure. I don't know if that's what's responsible for the wind here, or maybe it's just some outflow wind associated with this, the storm not on top of you, but maybe some wind kind of blowing out away from it. That's causing the windy conditions there in Muscle Shoals and Florence right now. Checking in here with the Weather Service. So some wind gusts in Red Bay as the storm moved in. That was as it moved in, around 45 to 50. Again, the storm looked a little bit stronger at that point in time than it does now, but that was when it was moving through Red Bay. The latest update here, this was a little bit more than 10 minutes ago, decreasing the hail size in the storm. So again, that goes with what looked to be a bit of a weakening trend, but still possibility for some strong wind. And then let's see, the Weather Service is talking about the activity in southern Middle Tennessee, monitoring the outflow boundary that is formed south of the storms in southern Middle Tennessee, and just seeing how that interacts. So for instance, this storm, if it encounters that outflow, what that might do to see if that could strengthen things or perhaps lead to some new renewed storm development. So keeping an eye on that. But they're also recognizing the outflow boundary there in southern Middle Tennessee. And again, I think that's the main reason why none of this activity across the northern part of our coverage area is severe, because it's all forming behind the outflow boundary. So again, the question is, we get some outflow from this storm perhaps, we get outflow from here, this is moving south, outflow from this will be moving to the east. When those areas of outflow collide, interact with each other, what happens? You know, sometimes that can lead to new storm development. Sometimes outflow interacting with an individual storm can do some interesting things. But again, continuing to see really a downward decrease in intensity here with our storm now on the Franklin-Lawrence County line. Number of lightning strikes, 30-minute time frame, now down to 64. Again, it was up to 200 when this was entering Franklin County. It's now down to 64, losing its structure as well compared to what it looked like. So I suspect severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:30. I don't think it will be reissued. Given the downward trend in the lightning, the decrease in organization of the storm, I don't think that severe thunderstorm warning will be extended in this particular case. And there is nothing else immediately of concern. Stronger rain, we'll say, not much lightning around Haleyville and Point Southwest, couple lightning strikes, but nothing that looks particularly ominous. And again, this would be mainly tracking east across Winston County into parts of Coleman County. Nothing that's warned on that. And there's just really not a whole lot else that's a concern. This activity back towards Lawrenceburg, barely any lightning associated with it now. Again, we've got this outflow boundary, well-defined, south of Fayetteville, south of Winchester, Tennessee. Storms are back behind it. That limits their potential to produce anything significant. Again, we've got our severe thunderstorm watch, goes until 10. Again, we won't see storms until 10. And I'll be kind of curious to see when they may start trimming the watch back. Lauderdale, Colbert County, I'm not real concerned that there's going to be anything that is going to be of consequence for you. That extends northern parts of Lawrence County, I would say into Limestone County as well. And again, the activity in Tennessee, I just don't think is going to pose a big threat. And the activity that we have in northwest Alabama, again, continuing to show less signs of organization at this point as it pushes eastward. Now, as it comes eastward, something new may form. Maybe this gets reinvigorated. I won't rule that out. But I think as far as severe weather potential goes, and this kind of lines up with what I showed you, the original outline from the Storm Prediction Center of their severe thunderstorm watch. And again, it did not include far northwest corner of the state. It didn't include Colbert, Lauderdale County. It was basically drawn, as I showed you, from Haleyville to Scottsboro to take into account this activity coming out of Mississippi, and then perhaps some of this activity northwest of Chattanooga kind of dropping in to Jackson County. I think those were the two main things that they were looking at, and really did not see a threat from anything from Fayetteville back to the west coming in and causing any problems. So yes, all of us are in the severe thunderstorm watch. No, all of us will not see severe weather, and likely the most worst case scenario for severe weather, I think if you draw a line from Moulton to south of Decatur to near Grant, near Gunnersville to Fort Payne, southward, that's where I think our threat for severe weather is going to be highest. Areas to the north, not so much. And even where that threat will remain for the next few hours, I don't think it's going to be a real significant threat. But, the atmosphere does its thing, and in the time I've been doing this, I've seen it all, to be honest. But that's just kind of my thought process right now about the overall potential. So let's kind of track this out. Again, I don't think at this point the severe thunderstorm warning will be extended. But this storm will continue to track generally eastward. So let's kind of take it out a long way here. Let's just say it holds together, makes this entire track across North Alabama in some form or fashion. And this would be the timing of it. Arriving in Lacey Spring, 407, Arab around 414, Gunnersville area around 426, Boaz 438, 5 a.m. in Fort Payne. And that would fit with what I showed you model-wise, which indicated no later than 6 a.m. Were we going to have this threat for severe weather. So even though the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10, at least for us, what we cover here, the counties in far northern Alabama, 6 a.m. is going to be the very latest that we're going to be, I think, dealing with any sort of potential threats. I'm just going to leave it on the radar view here. A quick check here of the comments. Megan indicating, don't want any Sand Mountain surprises. Megan, I don't either. There's the saying when it comes to severe weather, the Sand Mountain magic, and what happens when storms hit Sand Mountain and some of the crazy things that go on. And yeah, I don't want any of that. But there seems to be some truth to that because, I've only been back here in the Huntsville market a little bit more than a year now, but I was here many of you know, 12 years previously. And yeah, I saw that a lot. And I've even seen it, obviously, in the last couple weeks. Have seen it there in Sand Mountain and how some weird things can happen. Hopefully that will not be the case tonight. Certainly would think it would be unusual if something were to go wild once storms reach that area. All right, so let me go back to my Facebook. Just do a quick check here. Looks like we don't have any new comments or questions. Just folks checking in. Okay, so did get a question coming into Muscle Shoals. Nothing at the moment. It's windy in Muscle Shoals, but no storms coming in. Want to know, is Athens, got a couple questions about Athens. Is Athens in the clear tonight? Athens, Tanner area in the clear tonight? I think in general, yes. This storm heading towards Moulton will stay south of you in Athens. There's nothing else immediately to the west, even back into Mississippi. And this activity, which is slowly building south out of southern Middle Tennessee from the Lawrenceburg-Pulaski area, not doing a whole lot. So if you're in Athens, think you're reasonably okay. I never want to give 100% completely all clear, but if I was a betting man, I'd say you're going to be okay in the Athens area. Again, if we're going to get something here short term, and again, the window for this is only going to be open until about 6 a.m., so 2.5 more hours here for North Alabama. And we're gradually going to see the threat diminish from northwest and off to the south and to the east with time, with the greatest threat, if we're going to see some additional strong to severe thunderstorm activity, it's likely going to be originating from what we've got here that's coming into Lawrence County, near Moulton, down through the Bankhead National Forest, and points eastward. That's going to be the most likely scenario for that. So, you know, in Athens, I think fairly confident I can say that you're not going to have anything to worry about there. Let me do a quick check here on YouTube. And see what we got here. I'm not seeing anything right offhand there. Or let me actually. Got a couple comments here about Northeast Alabama, risk of tornado activity. Can I go to bed over here? Again, just a severe thunder, I don't want to say just a severe thunderstorm watch, but severe thunderstorm watch. So that means more likely that we're going to have some strong wind and or some hail out of the strongest storms, not necessarily a tornado threat. So the northeast corner of the state, let's say the tornado threat low, but it's not zero. And just a reminder, just have a way to get alerts. If something comes out to wake you up, the Way 31 Storm Tracker weather app, you can set it up for alerts. If you only want tornado warnings to go off for your location, you can set it up specifically for that. So downloading the 31 Storm Tracker weather app and setting up the alerts doesn't mean you're going to get every single thing. You can customize it the way you want it. A lot of weather radios, the more sophisticated ones, same thing. You can customize it. If you only want it to go off for tornado warnings, you can do that. So just want to stress, just have a way to get alerts. And keep in mind, in most cases, if there is a significant tornado warning, even if you don't have a piece of equipment or an app to alert you, you're going to get those wireless emergency alerts. So if you are going to head to bed, and again, I don't think we have anything real significant that we're going to have to worry about overnight tonight, but if you are going to go to bed, just make sure you keep your phone on audible so that if something were to pop that would be not expected, you would at least get that wireless emergency alert on your cell phone. So just make sure that you just have a way to stay weather aware. And in a lot of cases, that's all you need to do. You just need to be aware of the weather. You need to have that situational awareness, know what the expectation is, what the weather could do, and just keep an eye on it. And in most cases, just that knowledge and that awareness is going to keep you safe, as opposed to not knowing what's going on and then having to scramble at the last minute trying to figure it out. So just make sure that you do have a way to get those alerts. Otherwise, at this point, okay, so here's the update. They've trimmed the warning back, removing Franklin and Colbert counties. Warning remains in effect for Lawrence until 3:30, but Weather Service indicates what I've been talking about. The storm's really weakened. So that leads me to believe, they're not officially saying it, but that leads me to believe they're going to let the warning end at 3:30. They are watching these storms in Winston County near Haleyville. These will be tracking into Coleman County, really just out of our coverage area, but we're going to continue to watch those as well. Again, those will be moving over the Smith Lake area primarily, Coleman and southward, that activity there near Haleyville. And again, our storm here, Lawrence County, continues to weaken, and most likely the warning's going to be allowed to expire. And again, there's nothing of immediate concern up here in southern Middle Tennessee. So with that, I'm going to leave the radar up. I will come back and do some updates here over the next 30 minutes or so. But for now, just going to leave the radar up. If you got some questions and you're going to stay on, continue to watch the stream here while we have it up a little bit longer, put those in the comments when I come back on here after I catch my breath a little bit. We'll take a look at that. But again, right now, threat for severe weather is fading with our severe thunderstorm warning that is very likely going to be allowed to expire. We do have some stronger storm activity near Haleyville that'll be tracking towards Coleman County, just a little south of our coverage area, but something that we will continue to monitor there. And again, nothing else right now. Again, if you're out here towards the shoals, you're probably in good shape. Decatur to Athens, I think we're in reasonably good shape. We're still going to have to watch over into Sand Mountain for another, like I said, 2.5 hours or so. I don't think we'll be able to say we're completely okay and free of any severe weather threats until probably around 6 a.m. or so. So a little bit longer for those of you that are staying up. For those of you that are tuning in and seeing that we don't have anything real significant that we're tracking at the moment and you want to go ahead and call it a night, again, just make sure that you have a way to get alerts. All right, I'm going to leave the radar up, but I'll be back with some updates here probably about 10 or 15 minutes from now. All right, I'm back on. Just to give you an update, because some new information came out. Some good information, by the way. The tornado watch for southern Middle Tennessee that was in effect for Franklin, Moore, Lincoln County, that was allowed to expire, by the way. That set to expire at 3 a.m., so they're allowing that to happen. And for you folks in the Shoals, severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled if you are in Franklin, Colbert, and Lauderdale County. So National Weather Service has canceled severe thunderstorm watch here, Franklin, Colbert, Lauderdale County. Does remain in effect Lawrence, Limestone County eastward. And the tornado watch expired here in southern Middle Tennessee. So there you go. Just wanted to share that good information with you. And again, severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire as well there in Lawrence County. All right, now I'm going to go and take a short break. So again, some good news. Some of the watches being canceled across the area. Still remains a severe thunderstorm watch for Lawrence, Limestone County, points eastward. Again, goes until 10, won't be that long, 6 a.m. max that we're going to have to deal with this. Again, our storms, southern Middle Tennessee, they're not doing anything of any concern. And strongest activity is now south of Moulton. They're in Winston County and arcing back to the south and west into Mississippi. All right, I'll be back again with the update again about 15 minutes or so. All right, everyone, I'm back. Let's just give you a little update here. No warnings are back out. Just kind of recap what we've got going on. We've got two areas of storms, one across southern Middle Tennessee. These are not doing anything. And the main reason why these are behind the outflow, the rain-cooled air. The leading edge of that has reached the state line. Kind of pick it out here, the skinny little blue-green line. That's your outflow, that's your rain-cooled air. Storms are back behind that, and that makes it difficult for anything severe. So I'm not really concerned that we're going to get anything severe out of this, to be quite honest. What we will have to watch, this outflow boundary comes south, might generate some new development. For the most part, the development's happening behind the boundary. If we do get something that develops ahead of the boundary, could go up in a hurry, could be a little bit more of a concern, but we're not seeing indications of that right now. Strongest storm activity, such as it is, it's not severe. In Winston County, you can see it here south of Moulton, east of Haleyville, quite a bit of lightning. This is tracking towards Coleman, and we'll probably skip across southern Marshall County, maybe into southern parts of DeKalb County. Again, none of this is severe at the moment, but if we were to get a severe thunderstorm warning, it would, in the short term, this is where it would come from, because we've got nothing else of any concern out there right now. Before I just took a quick break, did mention the severe thunderstorm watch canceled for you folks here in the Shoals. Franklin, Colbert, Lauderdale County dropped, I would say pretty soon, as soon as this little last downpour in the southeast corner of Lawrence County moves out. You're done as well. Reasonably good assessment, reasonable assessment if you're in Limestone County, probably going to be okay, even though officially you're still included in the watch. If you're in Morgan County, if you're south of Coleman, I'd say probably Falkville southward. Morgan County still may have the threat for something strong coming on through. We're just not seeing a whole lot in the way of inclement weather developing out of this. I know some of you asking about the wind in Muscle Shoals. We do have something here from the Weather Service about the gusts there. That it could be, and I mentioned sometimes we get these little small, very small scale areas of low pressure that can develop in association with rain and storm activity. And that might be what we're seeing here, kind of on the back edge of this rain. So that's a possibility. So even though you may just see some light rain, northern Lawrence County, moving across Limestone, Morgan County, there is the possibility, and these things don't last for a long period of time, but we did have a wind gust of 51 miles per hour at the airport in Muscle Shoals. Not associated with thunderstorm activity because that was all well south of there. So it is possible that there is going to be a swath of some strong wind. We saw that, I think a few weeks ago, we had a case of that. So that's something that, yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on. There might be some strong wind gusts, not necessarily associated with storms, that may in fact come across parts of Lawrence, Limestone, Morgan County. So that would be our only concern, I think, Decatur to Athens and points westward at this point, not from severe weather, but just from some strong wind not associated with thunderstorm activity. For those of you that are just checking in, let me kind of run through what we've got going on. And severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 a.m. It's not going to last until 10 a.m. Again, we've already dropped parts of northwest Alabama from the watch. Tornado watch, which had been in effect here for southern Middle Tennessee, that is also gone away, or at least the counties. Okay, yeah, so that's all gone. So that tornado watch is gone as well. That was in effect for Middle Tennessee, so that's over with. There is still tornado watch officially, I think, for a few counties here in eastern Mississippi. That watch originally went to 2, but I think they extended some of the counties there until 4. So that will be likely dropping off as well. So no tornado watches in our immediate area. Severe thunderstorm watch already being canceled in spots. I think probably next up, the next round of places that'll be dropped from the watch are probably going to be Lawrence, Limestone, maybe Morgan County, when there's another update on dropping counties from the watch. But again, the one thing that we will have to keep an eye on is the wind gust. Again, not associated with thunderstorms, but perhaps a miniature area of low pressure in the wake of this rain and storm activity. So there's your gust in Muscle Shoals, 39. Keep in mind these are fairly localized. This is not something that's going to become widespread across the area. So this is going to be a localized area. And these little small scale areas of low pressure, they don't last for long periods of time. But again, continuing here from the Shoals, maybe into Lawrence, northern Lawrence, western Limestone County, you may get some strong wind not associated with thunderstorm activity, so just be aware of that. All right, let me, going to run through the comments, see what we got and what I can answer. And I'll just, as well, to kind of help me tell the story. As far as where I think we have at least limited potential for additional severe weather, I'm just going to kind of draw it out here. Basically from what we have currently in Winston, southeast Lawrence County, I think for the most part, if there is going to be any additional severe weather threats, what I've drawn here is where it's going to be. Decatur, Athens, I think it'd be highly unlikely if we're going to get anything severe. There's nothing coming at you from the north. What we have here off to the south and to the west is moving east. May get some development here where it's fairly clear. We've also got this outflow boundary right along the state line. Again, that's this little skinny line that you see here, slowly sagging southward. Once that comes through your area as well, I think you're in the clear, at least for any severe weather potential. You might still get some rain because we are generating some showers back behind that from time to time. But I think what I've got circled here, and again, this is only going to go up until maybe 6 o'clock in the morning before we've got everything out of here into Georgia or south of DeKalb County out of our coverage area. But we'll still say Coleman County, Morgan County here, central eastern Morgan County, maybe the southeastern corner, Madison County, New Hope, and points south and eastward. Marshall, DeKalb County, Etowah County, Cherokee County, and probably Scottsboro south in Jackson County. Still the threats, we may get some severe weather. It's not a certainty. Again, there's nothing severe at the moment, although we're watching this. This is getting a little bit more electrical in Winston County. So if you're in Coleman County, just a heads up, stronger storm moving on in. Possible we may get a severe thunderstorm warning out of that. But the area that I've got circled here across the northeast corner of the state, Sand Mountain, still the threat for another 2.5 hours that we could see something strong to severe, and then that's going to be it. Let me run you through here the latest model data. This is partly going into my thought process about this as well. Doing a pretty good job on showing the unorganized, non-severe showers and thunder showers here, southern Middle Tennessee. Maybe a little off on the placement, but I always tell you with the models, don't focus on the placement and the exact position, but what's the model saying? What's the trend? So it's got the activity here to the north. It's got the activity to the south. It's showing the strongest stuff. Again, a little out of place here. These stronger storms are actually a little east of Haleyville. Not really seeing this heavier rainfall around Decatur. It's mostly light rain from Decatur to Moulton. So again, it's a little off on the details, but what's the trend? What is it showing us? but it's showing the two distinct areas of rain and embedded thunderstorm activity. Where do we go from here? Well, stuff to the north does nothing. We do continue to pull the rain and storm activity where it's currently in place. Lawrence County, heading into western Coleman County, southwest Morgan County, continues to show that that's going to advance eastward. So again, towards Marshall County, southern Jackson, eventually into DeKalb County. Through 5 o'clock, probably the leading edge of the heavier activity there in Guntersville, point southward. Again, by 6 a.m., heavier stuff has probably cleared you in DeKalb County. We're done at that point. Stuff here in southern Tennessee, again, does nothing. So if we're going to see some additional strong storm, severe weather potential, again, it's going to be what I circled there. Basically, south of Decatur, along and east of I-65, and kind of east from there into parts of Sand Mountain. I think the northern extent of anything would be Scottsboro, and again, the western extent, at least right now, that Lawrence-Morgan County line down to the Winston-Coleman County line. And then we're done after that. Rain may linger 7, 8 o'clock in the morning if you're in the far east towards the Georgia border. Rest of your Saturday, I tell you what, looks great. Any morning cloud cover should give way to some afternoon sunshine, and notice there's nothing else the rest of the day. So we get through the pre-dawn hours with this activity moving through North Alabama right now. Should be smooth sailing the rest of the day. You know, I will say we're watching tomorrow night, potentially. Let me find that. This is using the same model. Different run. This is the last full run of the model that goes out 48 hours. But it's showing, I went back too far. Showing a lot of the same thing. The band to the north, what's advancing towards the I-65 corridor right now. Again, rest of today, no problems. We had been seeing indications late tonight into Sunday morning, probably another round of rain and storms coming through. So there's a limited severe weather threat. Severe weather potential out of this is even lower than what we have out there this evening and tonight. But that'll be something to watch. First thing tomorrow morning, or excuse me, first thing, well, yeah, I guess it is tomorrow now. You considered, sorry, I've been up a while. Consider today Saturday, yes, so yeah, tomorrow, Sunday morning. Sunday morning, some rain early on, some storm activity. And once again, that may clear out, and we're left with a decent afternoon on Sunday. And then there may be some more activity that comes in later, Sunday night into Monday morning, so we'll keep an eye on that. But let me get you back here. I'm going to leave it on radar, and then I'm going to take a look comment-wise. These are some older comments. On my page, let me go to the Way 31 Facebook page, and I'll take a look what we got. The comments here. Okay, so someone in Limestone County saying they're getting the high winds. So yeah, that is, again, not associated with thunderstorm activity. So it appears we have some sort of small scale area low pressure. They're what are known as wake lows. They kind of develop in the wake of rain and thunderstorm activity. Again, that's produced some strong wind in the shoals. Again, not associated with thunderstorms. And again, someone commenting that they're getting those gusty winds in Limestone County as well. So again, small scale area low pressure perhaps here, located in the vicinity of Moulton, Decatur, and bringing in some strong wind perhaps. So we're getting a report of that in Limestone County. Just mostly people checking in. Again, high gust of wind in Sheffield. Just a lot of folks checking in. And then lastly, let me take a look here on YouTube. Yeah, I'm not seeing any new comments here on YouTube. You know, this is ideal. That we're just not getting anything too bad. The atmosphere was set up for it, you know, not to the extent that our neighbors to the north had to deal with. And I don't know how many of y'all been following what's happened weather-wise earlier today across Missouri. Suburbs of St. Louis got hit by a tornado. Multiple other tornadoes across many states, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. It appears Kentucky got hit pretty hard by tornado activity. The atmosphere and the ingredients were much, much more robust for severe weather to the north. If you've been following along the last couple days, we had a moderate risk of severe weather on our scale of 1 to 5. That was level 4 up in that area. Unfortunately, what was expected came to fruition there. And I know there have been some deaths that have been reported as a result of the weather. You hate to hear that. You hate to hear it when the forecast turns out correct, when you're forecasting severe weather. Here, we weren't as concerned. We weren't expecting as volatile of a setup. I will say I'm a little surprised at the overall lack of rain coverage, and that we don't have a little bit more severe weather ongoing in our area. And I'm not complaining. I'm glad it's working out that way for us. I'm always happy when things don't pan out the way that we expect them to. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes the weather ends up worse than we thought it was going to be. But this was a situation here, and you know, not giving you the all clear, but at least thus far, this is a situation where the expectation of severe weather and storm impacts have not materialized the way we thought that they could. Again, not that we were expecting the same sort of thing that they got to our north, but we were still expecting a little bit more impact, maybe a few more stronger thunderstorms than what we've got out there, and also an earlier arrival. It's been a waiting game, to say the least, to finally get at least some rain in here. Again, some heavier rain, some thunder and lightning here, Franklin County, near and east of Winchester. But that's tracking generally east. That'll be moving out of our area. And again, it's back behind the outflow boundary. That's this little skinny line that you see here. We may have another little boundary here. Let me zoom in a little closer. Perhaps another little boundary here. These two may end up colliding. That could generate some additional rain or storm activity. May not, but that's always a possibility. Madison County, we've just got some lighter rain moving on in, but we're going to have to keep an eye on the winds, because it does appear that we have a small-scale area low pressure that's been generating some strong wind. Now, the wind has come down in Muscle Shoals. We had, at 3:13, we had a wind gust there of 51 miles per hour. Sustained winds that were 30, 32 to be exact. Latest update, the wind in Muscle Shoals is now down to 13. And there's been a little bit of a wind shift. The wind was out of the west-southwest. Wind's now turned more to the northwest. And so that would kind of make sense if you had a little small-scale area low pressure coming on through. Let's see. It looks like we've gotten some updates from the Weather Service. Let me take a look at what those are. Or maybe not. Oh, for outside of our area. So severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Blount County, looks like. So I get alerts for counties just to our south. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But again, the winds have come down in Muscle Shoals. So whatever was generating the strong wind gusts there in Muscle Shoals has come and gone. Quick look here, Decatur. And now it's there. Now it's in the Decatur area up to Athens. We're getting some winds that are gusting around 40 miles per hour. So whatever generated the strong wind out in the shoals, it's now coming east. The airport for Decatur is actually Pryor Field, which is in southern Limestone County. So we're getting some winds gusting there now around 40 miles per hour. So expect kind of similar to what they had into the shoals. There's going to be a period, maybe an hour or so, where you're going to get these strong gusty winds coming on through Limestone County and perhaps down towards Decatur. As we are seeing, the wind has started to pick up there just in the last 15 minutes. Let me check Huntsville International. Winds have increased, now gusting 26 out at the airport in Huntsville. So again, we're seeing that non-thunderstorm related strong wind progressing east now. Was in the shoals, now it's in Limestone County, down into parts of Morgan County, coming into parts of Madison County. So again, this will be a window. Let me see how long it lasted in the shoals, where we had the gusty wind from about 1:30 to 3:30, a couple hours there, although the strongest where winds were gusting above 30, that was only about 30 minutes that we had winds gusting consistently above 30 there in Muscle Shoals. So once the winds start picking up in these other areas, again, East Limestone, northern parts of Morgan County, western Madison County, going to be a good 30, maybe 40 minutes where we're going to see those winds gusting perhaps above 30 miles per hour. Not seeing anything quite as strong as what we had out into the shoals. So that could indicate that this small-scale area low pressure perhaps weakening a bit. So we are continuing to keep an eye on that. That'll be the only concern, I think, here in the Athens, Decatur, Huntsville area. Not severe weather, but some strong wind gusts not associated with thunderstorm activity. And of course, we do have the rain coming through as well. All right, these are this is a severe thunderstorm warning that came out basically from this batch of storms extending from southeast Winston County, Smith Lake area, back to the southwest. Severe thunderstorm warning has been drawn. It does not include southern Coleman County. Now keep in mind, Coleman County is part of the Huntsville National Weather Service Forecast Office, and these other areas, Blount County, Winston County, and points south of Coleman County are handled by Birmingham, so that's why there's the disconnect. If you wanted to basically connect the line, maybe severe thunderstorm warning for that far southern part of Coleman County. But again, that's the reason for the difference. There's a strong storm coming through Coleman right now. Again, this is kind of what is left over from what was at one time a severe thunderstorm warned storm. Appears this is all moving, maybe starting to move a little more south to east. But let's track this out. Probably going to clip you in southern parts of, okay, and there we go. Severe thunderstorm warning just added for Coleman County. So kind of connecting the dots there between what the Birmingham office had warned for and what the Huntsville office had not warned for. That's not this that I'm tracking. This is just a little more south. So what I'm tracking here across Coleman County will continue off to the east. And maybe a little bit of a jog to the south of east, but that could bring it to near Albertville by 4:43, so about 40 minutes or so from now, into the Gadsden area around 5 o'clock in the morning. So again, strong storm here in northern Coleman County, not severe, but could produce maybe some wind gusts, 40 miles per hour, heavy rainfall, quite a bit of lightning. Right now, it does not appear anything worse than that. And again, severe thunderstorm warning added now for Coleman County for what's over part of Smith Lake there in Winston County, and will continue moving through the Smith Lake area across southern parts of Coleman County. Again, that's just kind of connecting the warnings that the Birmingham office had put out for their coverage area. And that's really where the strongest stuff is. This is our right here, south of Winston and Marion County, south of 22, strongest storm, certainly the most intense. A lot of lightning with this one. Again, severe thunderstorm warning there. Nothing warned on the northern part into northern Coleman County. Possible we may get a warning, severe thunderstorm warning out of that. But again, elsewhere, not a lot to worry about. Here's that outflow boundary now entering northern parts of Jackson County, extending back into northern Madison County. And again, we may have some small-scale area low pressure that's moved from the shoals now into Limestone, Morgan, and Madison County. That's what's responsible if you're noticing some strong wind gusts, but it's just raining and you're not getting stormy weather. It is due to that. That we appear to have some sort of small-scale area low pressure moving through parts of North Alabama that is generating some gusty wind. Winds are now gusting to 40 out at Huntsville International Airport. And again, that's not necessarily associated with a thunderstorm, although there is a little thunder and lightning, but that is something else, some small-scale area low pressure, perhaps. Winds have gusted to around 40 at Pryor Field, north of Decatur, between Decatur and Athens. Wind gusts have started to come down a little bit there. And again, they have increased a bit now towards Huntsville International Airport. So again, if you're in western Madison County, the city of Madison, probably coming across Huntsville, you are going to hear some strong gusty wind that could be gusting around 40 miles per hour or perhaps a little bit higher. Again, not associated with anything severe weather-wise. Strongest storms start in Coleman County and extend southwest from there. So again, this is some small-scale area low pressure that's kind of developed here on the back edge of the rainfall, a little north of where the stronger storms are. This is something that occasionally does happen and can produce some strong wind gusts not associated with thunderstorm activity. And that is what we are seeing coming across the Athens, Decatur, Huntsville area right now. Earlier, about an hour or so ago, that was out towards the Shoals where we were getting that. The winds have come down there, though, around Muscle Shoals and Florence compared to earlier. Yeah, Michelle mentioning the lights are flickering. Michelle, I don't know your exact location. but the wind's picking up. Again, that's associated with that small area low pressure. Michelle mentioning Vinemont. Yeah, you are getting in on this heavier thunder shower. Non-severe, northern parts of Coleman County, but it's right over the top of you in the Vinemont area there in northern Coleman County. Okay, report now Lawson area, Limestone County, the winds have died down. So again, this is going to be this little area of strong wind that, again, is moving out of Limestone, Morgan County, now into Madison County. It's not going to last very long, maybe 30 minutes tops, where you're going to see some wind gusts 30, 40 miles per hour, and then it's going to subside. But it will come through as long as the small-scale area low pressure continues to hold on. A couple other reports. Yeah, Limestone County, the wind has dropped. Got a question, Lawrence County update. I assume you're talking Lawrence County, Alabama. You're good. Severe weather threats over. Officially, still have the severe thunderstorm watch, but probably can be dropped from that. So you're okay in Lawrence County. You got some rain, Moulton, southward through the Bankhead National Forest. No additional severe weather threats are going to come through Lawrence County. Again, strongest storm activity, extreme southern Morgan County, basically Morgan-Coleman County line, and points off to the south and to the west. To the north, we've got rain, but we do have a small-scale area low pressure that's apparently moving through. That is creating some gusty wind. Had it in the shoals, starting to die down Limestone County. Winds are still pretty strong. Moving into parts of Madison County right now. Again, Huntsman International Airport is seeing some gusts around 40 miles per hour. 30 to 40 primarily is what we're seeing right now. We had a 51 mile per hour gust earlier out in the shoals. So this area low pressure is probably losing some steam, but still producing some gusty wind now across parts of Madison County. And again, that's not associated with severe thunderstorms. This is just a small area low pressure that appears to have developed kind of on the back edge of the rainfall and the northern extent of where we have the thunderstorm activity. Getting a report, maybe the storm that came through Franklin County, some reports of some trees down around Phil Campbell and Tharptown. That was likely associated with our severe warned storm a little bit earlier when it came through there. That is the only damage report I'm seeing at the moment. Braden asked, when's Florence going to get storms? You're not. The storm threat's over for Florence and the rest of the shoals. Let's see. Connie wanting to know about the Paint Rock Valley. Again, relatively okay. We'll have to watch. Again, we've got the gusty wind not associated with thunderstorm activity coming through Madison County. That may extend into the Paint Rock Valley, so you may get some wind gust as this rain moves in. That could be around 30 miles per hour. Severe weather threat, though, I think you're going to be okay. And again, let me kind of draw out here. If we're going to see any additional severe weather potential, my expectation of where it is going to be is going to be in general where we have the thunderstorm activity right now, maybe a little north of there, but we're just not seeing any northward building of this activity. So pretty much we'll draw a straight line from where we've got the thunder and lightning right now. Gunnersville to maybe Fort Payne southward, and another, it's 4:15, another hour and a half until this activity in Coleman County kind of clears this zone. If we're going to get something strong, if we're going to get maybe a severe thunderstorm warning, this is where it's going to be. Coming out of Coleman County, southern Marshall County from Guntersville southward, southern DeKalb County from Fort Payne southward. I think you're really going to be okay, at least spared from severe thunderstorm activity, most of Jackson County, all of Madison County, all of Limestone County, most of Morgan County. The only thing we're going to have to watch for, again, is this small-scale area low pressure that appears to have developed that did produce some strong wind in the shoals. That moved towards the Athens-Decatur area, excuse me, now impacting parts of Madison County where we've seen some wind gusts at the airport around 40 miles per hour. But again, as far as severe weather goes, if any additional severe weather happens, I think it's going to be in this area that I've got encircled. So from Coleman to Guntersville to Fort Payne, southward, that's going to be it. Rest of us, I honestly think that we're in the clear. And again, the threat's going to wind down here in the next hour, 45 minutes or so. 6 a.m., I think we're done. Still will be some lingering rain, maybe a little bit longer than that. But as far as severe weather potential, I think we're going to be okay after that. I am going to have to take a quick little break here, sip on some water. And I'll leave the radar up, but be back with you all here coming up in just a few minutes. All right, everyone, back with you. So far, so good for the most part. Had one severe thunderstorm warning, Franklin County, and that's been it. Right now, all the warnings, southern Coleman County, back off to the south and west. The area I've got circled here from Coleman to Guntersville, Fort Payne, southward. If we're going to get any additional severe weather threats, I think that's where it's going to be. I think we're good to go. Lawrence County, Shoals, already good to go there. Limestone County, really most of Morgan County except for the extreme southeast corner. Madison County, we're okay. If you're in southern Middle Tennessee, severe weather threats over for you. And I think Jackson County, you're going to be okay as well. Unlikely that we're going to see anything develop and track through there, at least at this juncture, this late into the evening. So again, Coleman to Guntersville, Fort Payne, still possible. We get strong or severe thunderstorm activity in those areas, but even that window is only open for about another 90 minutes or so before that's going to wind down. Officially, severe thunderstorm watch until 10. It's not going to last that long for us, so don't fret if you're seeing that alert and thinking that, I'm never going to get to bed. But again, we can give you the all clear if you're out here in the Shoals, northwest Alabama, Limestone County, even Madison County, Jackson County. I think we're going to be okay. Again, southern Marshall, southern DeKalb County, we'll keep an eye on it for a little bit longer for you, but in general, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot to worry about. Let me check the comments. Some folks going to bed. Good. I hope very soon I'll be able to do that. Let's see. Let me head on over to the Way 31 Facebook page and check in with folks that are watching us live stream there. See what kind of questions we got. In the last little bit. Penny mentioning fishing tournaments in Guntersville this morning. Depends on when they're going to start. If it's after sunrise, it's going to be fine. I'm not a fisherman, so I don't know, how soon people get out there on the water. But obviously, they'll want to wait until after this thunderstorm activity. Now, east of Coleman has kind of passed by. Say another 30 minutes or so, and it'll be fine after that. There may be some rain that still lingers through 7, 8 o'clock this morning there in that part of Marshall County, but probably nothing more significant than that. Over on YouTube, got a question from Todd. If there's ever been a thunderstorm warning issued just for outflow winds. Yes, I've seen that before. If the outflow, yes, is associated with a nearby thunderstorm, then yeah, I've seen warnings issued just for the outflow winds. So oftentimes those warnings are drawn, a bit away from where the actual rain and storm activity is. But yes, that has happened before. All right, so Penny clarifying 5:30 to 6. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay in Guntersville by 5:36. It'll be close, but storm activity and even what we got here in northeastern Coleman County, kind of fizzling just a little bit. So yeah, I think definitely by 5:36. It still might be raining in Guntersville, but I think the threat for any severe weather will have come and gone at that point. Evelyn asking, do I need to leave my camper? I live in South Vinemont. No, worst of the weather has moved out of South Vinemont. In fact, let me take the circled spot off, make it a little bit easier to see what we've got going on. And I'll focus in a little closer as well into Coleman County. So again, South Vinemont area, heaviest storm activity now south of Coleman. And this is mostly moving east, so it's not building to the north. So if you're in South Vinemont, you're fine. You've got rain. There's still a couple lightning strikes around, but stronger storm activity south of Coleman. It's not headed your way. Everything that we've got here, heavier rain around Joppa, in between Joppa and Bluntsville, some heavy rain. Lightning's decreased a little bit here, so I think this is kind of weakening a little bit, but that'll be tracking into Marshall County, northern parts of Blount County. Heaviest and strongest thunderstorms south of Coleman right now. That'll be headed east into parts of Blount County, but that probably stays out of southern Marshall County. So again, we're still looking relatively good. Rain does extend back here in Lawrence County, Bankhead National Forest. Someplace I've never been. I hear it's beautiful. And I'm sure all this rain that continues to come down there, I know there's lots of waterfalls there in the Sipsey Wilderness. So I'm sure it will be a good weekend to maybe check that out if that's your thing. Out here towards the shoals, good to go. Winds died down that we had earlier. Rain's pretty well wrapped up. Limestone County, again, the wind has died down here. Going to check the wind in Madison County. Again, the strong wind not associated with thunderstorms, but associated with some small area low pressure that originated out towards the shoals has been shifting eastward. We may still have some gusty wind in Madison County. But otherwise just rain. 565 southward is where most of it is. We've got light rain moving into Scottsboro. Nothing that's going to be strong to severe here at this point. But let me check in on the winds. Starting to come down at the airport. Last update, winds were southwest at 18. And no gust reported, and the most recent gusts were in the low 30s. We hit a peak gust, it looks like, of 40 at the airport a short time ago. Meridianville, checking the airport there. Nothing bad wind-wise there. So I think what's happened, we had this little small area low pressure. It was most intense when it was in the shoals, and we had a wind gust of 51 at Muscle Shoals Airport. We had some wind gusts of 40 miles per hour or a little bit higher, parts of Limestone and perhaps down into Morgan County. And then the wind gusts have continued to come down as that strong wind has moved into Madison County, but the winds not as long-lived. So I think that area low pressure weakening and kind of falling apart. So I think that threat for stronger wind, not associated with thunderstorms, is kind of winding down as well. I expect we'll get some more counties cleared from the watch. Severe thunderstorm watch already dropped out here in the northwest corner for Franklin, Colbert, Lauderdale County. I think probably it'll be cleared soon for Lawrence, Limestone, Morgan County, maybe Madison County as well. those may be the next blocks of counties that are dropped from the watch. And really, I think Jackson County, you're going to be okay as well. Threat for stronger thunderstorm, such as it is, still for Marshall as well as DeKalb County. But even that threat, I think, is diminishing as we speak. Strongest storm is in Coleman County, south of Coleman. That's starting to lose a little bit of its punch as well. And we're just not seeing anything else that's going to be developing. Nothing is going to form behind this and come on through. We're not seeing any indications of that happening. So anything strong storm-wise is going to continue from where we have it right now. Coleman County, southern Marshall County, points eastward. If anything's going to happen, that's where it'll be. And I think the chance anything's going to happen is pretty doggone low at this point in time. So we're making it through this severe weather potential relatively unscathed. Susie asking 5 points yard sale at 7 a.m. May still have a little rain, although the back edge of that, you can see it's starting to clear already through parts of Huntsville. Reasonably good chance we're going to be dry by then. I'll show you I'll check some more comments after that. Let me show you the latest model forecast, which has done pretty well in the last few hours. Didn't do well yesterday. I'll be completely honest. But it's made up for it here in, the last, what time is it, 5 hours or so. All right, so this is the latest model update. The data I'm showing you here, this particular model, it updates once an hour. So I like to use it on severe weather days just so we can kind of see how things are changing with time. Decent job here. Back edge of the rain close to Huntsville, stretching back towards Moulton. That's kind of where we're seeing it on radar. Still some heavier rain and storm action picking up on that in Coleman County. Maybe a little overdone here in Marshall County. And it is showing rain in Fort Payne right now, but we don't really have a whole lot of that over in DeKalb County at the moment. But let's kind of put it in motion. So we had a question about yard sale 7 a.m. in 5 points. Well, at this point, the model pretty well dries us out. Maybe still a few spots of some light showers southeast Madison County. Still may have some steadier rain, Coleman County over towards DeKalb County. Nothing that will be severe at that point. As I've been mentioning, 6 a.m., kind of the end of any severe weather potential. What time is it now? A little after 4:30. So 6 a.m., we're going to be done. And maybe for all intent and purposes, we're already done. But we'll say 6 a.m. would be the very latest. If we had anything strong to severe, that would be the very latest that we'd have to deal with it. And that would only be southern Marshall, southern DeKalb County, and nowhere else here in North Alabama. Again, rain will continue to clear through 8 o'clock, starting mid-morning, 9:10, clouds clearing. I know future radar is going to show more. These, if anything, would just be thin clouds, not low-level clouds. So we're looking good. I mean, once we get through the next really 90 minutes, and then a little bit beyond that with still some lingering rain, we're looking good the rest of the day. Not going to have any problems for the rest of your Saturday. So positive note, at least what we've got going on out there is not something that's going to linger all day. Other positive, what we've got going on out there has not been real significant in most cases. Get the radar pulled back up, checking in here. Update from the Weather Service, indicating the storm moving from Coleman into Marshall County, weakening. As we've noted, lightning's gone down, storm's not as robust. Clearing all, okay. So the Weather Service is working on clearing all counties except Marshall and DeKalb. So there you go. So we are going to get the all clear here from the Weather Service by dropping all counties except for Marshall and DeKalb County from the severe thunderstorm watch. So that is going to be happening shortly. So if you've been staying up, if you're in Jackson County, Madison County, Morgan County, points west, go to bed. I'm confident that we don't have anything to worry about. Weather Service is dropping all but Marshall and DeKalb County from the severe thunderstorm watch, and even Marshall, DeKalb County, limited threat. Stronger storm here south of Coleman. That's mostly going to move east, though, and stay south of Marshall and DeKalb County. We'll head towards Etowah County. Got a little heavy rain with a little lightning moving towards, we got there, Douglas, the Boaz area, Sardis City, near and south of Albertville. Nothing that's going to be severe, in my opinion. For all intent and purposes, I think we're good across the rest of the area, even though technically Marshall and DeKalb will still be under the severe thunderstorm watch for a little bit longer. I fully expect they'll be cleared, no later probably than 6 o'clock this morning, officially cleared. So we're in pretty good shape at this point, folks. Anthony wanting to know how much rain fell in Tuscumbia. Would have to do a little more digging to get you exactly for Tuscumbia. I can tell you for the Northwest Alabama Regional Airport in Muscle Shoals, drum roll, official rain total there, 1/100th of an inch. So I don't know if it rained any harder in Tuscumbia than it did in Muscle Shoals, but that's all we got there in Muscle Shoals. So I would say Tuscumbia very close to that. 1/100th of an inch, that was it in the Muscle Shoals area. Let's see, check the other comments. Get back to my page. Looks like don't really have any recent comments on my page. And let's check YouTube. And no new comments on YouTube. All right, there's severe thunderstorm watch. Again, everything is going to be dropped here for what the Huntsville Weather Service covers, except for Marshall and DeKalb County. Now, there will be others. Etowah County, Cherokee County, Blount County will still remain in the watch. But Lawrence, Morgan, Limestone, Madison, Jackson County, about to be removed from the severe thunderstorm watch very, very shortly. And I don't think it'll be too much longer beyond that Marshall and DeKalb you'll be removed as well. We don't have anything of any concern here. Rain around Scottsboro. May still be some gusty wind. Let me check Huntsville International Airport. See what the latest wind gusts are there. It appeared that the wind was coming down. Yeah, now the wind gusts are 20 miles per hour or less. So that was down from right around 40 a little bit earlier. So that threat is subsiding, the gusty wind. Still nothing gusty wind-wise, well, at least as of 30 minutes ago in Meridianville. I think we just got the watch update. Let me show you that. Show you who's still included. Okay. So there you see the update to the severe thunderstorm watch. Coleman County even dropped. Looks like Birmingham hasn't dropped any of their counties yet that they cover. But the ones Huntsville covers, Marshall, DeKalb are the only two that are left. And again, I'd officially, yes, still in the severe thunderstorm watch. Unofficially, for all intent and purposes, I don't think we're going to have any severe weather that's going to break out here. Little thunder and lightning, brief downpour southwest there at Guntersville. Again, this would be coming in towards Douglas. There you see Douglas. That's it. Brief pickup in the rain, some rumbles of thunder. Albertville, you'll see some of that as well if that continues to hold together. None of this even resembles anything that's going to go severe. And I know we're relatively quiet DeKalb County. There'll still be some rain to come through. You know, will a little thunder shower develop between where the rain is there along 431 and Marshall County heading into DeKalb County? You know, it's possible. Do I think it will happen? No. So for all intent and purposes, again, Marshall, DeKalb County, you're still technically in the severe thunderstorm watch. But in my opinion, I don't think there's going to be any severe weather that's going to develop for y'all. I'm going to do one last check here, going through the comments. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap up the live. I'm going to hang out just a little bit longer. You know, crazy things can happen. I don't think this is going to be a situation where there is going to be anything crazy that happens. Let's see, I got a question about Pickens County. Let me just see here what we got. Down there towards Tuscaloosa. Pull up Birmingham's radar. So a question about Pickens County. You know, there's still going to be a chance down here, yes. We've got the severe thunderstorm warning. You see it drawn here in the yellow box. A very large one. Extends from Tuscaloosa to the north and west end of Birmingham, downtown Birmingham, north and west. So still a threat in Pickens County. There is some strong storm activity back over here towards Columbus, Mississippi. It doesn't look like that is warned on. The threat will remain here for potential severe weather. So again, asking about Pickens County, can't give you the clear yet. For folks here in far northern Alabama, yes, we're good. Even Marshall and DeKalb County, still under the watch, but for all intent and purposes, you're done with severe weather potential. So that's my page. I'm gonna check here, Way 31, Facebook, one more time. And we're gonna wind this down. Is Arab in the clear now? Yes. Yanni saying rain starting in Albertville. Yep, got that coming through. Heavier downpours Albertville southward, nothing that is severe. And honestly, again, I don't think we're going to have any severe weather, but certainly when this little heavier thunder shower comes through your area there in southern Marshall County, you're done with any severe weather potential. Charlotte asking, everything looking good in Guntersville? Yep. Just some rain in Guntersville. Derek wants to know who's cooking breakfast. I don't know. I could eat some breakfast maybe, but at this point, I think as soon as I get out of here, I am head to the pillow and try and get through the rest of my Saturday. Anelia said, I can't tell if you're talking to yourself or us. At this point, this late, I've been up a while, been at work a while. Yeah, kind of both. Talking to myself in my head, but talking to y'all also. Thundering here in Geraldine. Yep, I believe it. And that's probably going to be the worst of it. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Everyone dropped from the severe thunderstorm watch except Marshall, DeKalb County. Y'all could probably be dropped from the watch as well. I don't think we're going to see anything severe here. Strongest storm is in Blount County. That one's tracking due east towards Etowah County. Not even severe warned on that. So we're going to wind down the coverage. I'm going to change my profile picture back on Facebook to the normal one instead of 31 alert day. So at this point, 31 alert day has come to an end. The severe weather threat coming to an end here across far north Alabama. We're looking forward to what looks to be a pretty quiet rest of your Saturday once the rain finally tapers off here in the next couple of hours. Glad this did not turn into anything worse. Glad that the atmosphere, given the ingredients that we had in place, underperformed. That's always a good thing when the weather is not as bad as what you were expecting. Not that we were expecting it to be terrible, but relatively low impact the way it appears. Hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy quiet weather. We are going to watch. There will maybe be some storms late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Very, very limited severe threat with that. Almost no tornado potential, maybe a little gusty wind if we see anything. But otherwise, not really looking too bad here for especially the rest of your Saturday. Appreciate you all tuning in. Hope I gave you the information that you needed. Glad I didn't need to provide a lot more information than I did. Again, it's always a good thing when the atmosphere underperforms. But again, we're winding things down here. I don't think we have anything to worry about for the rest of tonight. So if you've been staying up like me, keeping an eye on the weather, go to bed. You're safe to do that across far northern Alabama. Down towards Birmingham Point southward, the threat will continue for a little bit longer. But I am signing off, and again, glad we stayed safe around here, and hope you have a great rest of the weekend.